Hey lovelies! Today I am really excited to be sharing with you one of my all-time favorite dessert recipes just in time for Easter. We are going to be making hummingbird cupcakes. These beautiful cupcakes are bursting with the flavor of banana, pineapple, crunchy pecans, and a little spiced cinnamon. And I finished them off in this case with some beautiful cream cheese icing and these gorgeous pineapple flowers. So there is a lot to love. Now, for as much as I would love to take credit for this awesome recipe, I simply can't. It is actually from Southern Living magazine. In fact, it is so tasty, it has been the most requested recipe for that magazine for nearly 50 years. So you know it's gonna be good. Now in the magazine, they actually turn it into a cake. But as you guys know, I'm not super confident about my cake making skills, so I thought cupcakes would be a bit more manageable. Totally, if you wanna make a cake, you do you. So the first thing we're going to do before we get to our cupcake batter is actually start by making some adorable pineapple flowers as toppers for our cupcake. Now to do this, it's really important to use a whole pineapple. You don't want to use the cored kind that you can find at the supermarket because you need the core intact for your flowers to stay together. What we'll do is we'll just cut off the top and tail of our pineapple, and then we will peel our pineapple by running our knife down along the edge. Now that we've got our pineapple peeled, we are going to use a very sharp knife or a mandolin to cut this pineapple into extremely thin slices. You just want to make sure, because you're going to be dehydrating your pineapples, that they are very, very thin. Once you've got your pineapple chopped up, you can just lay it out on a parchment-lined baking sheet, and we're going to get these into the oven at 225 degrees Fahrenheit for about an hour. After an hour, we're going to remove them from the oven, flip them over, and then put them back in the oven for at least another hour. What we're looking to do is dehydrate the pineapple. And you'll see when it comes out of the oven, it's gone a little golden around the edges and started to crisp up. And that is how you know it is time to make your flower designs. To do this, we're basically going to transfer each of our slices into a non-stick muffin tin. Now the cups in the muffin tin are actually going to create that lovely flower shape. So once you've got them transferred, you can either leave them on the counter overnight to dry out, or if you're like me and you haven't done any great planning, you can go ahead and get them back into the oven for another 30 minutes to an hour, and they'll start to retain that lovely flower shape. We'll let these cool completely, set them aside while we get to work on the main event, our hummingbird cupcakes. We'll start by mixing up our dry ingredients in a large bowl. So I've got some flour happening here, some granulated sugar, some baking soda for lift, a little sprinkle of salt, and I've got some cinnamon. Cinnamon with those bananas and that pineapple. So good. Trust me, your guests are gonna be glad they came. We'll give this all a whisk until it's well combined, and then we will add our wet ingredients. So I'm adding 3 beaten eggs. I've got a 1.5 cups of vegetable oil. Then I've got some pineapple tidbits. Now these come in a can, and we're also going to use the juice in addition to the pineapple. And finally, we are going to add some vanilla extract. As you can see, I am living life on the edge with how full this bowl is. My largest mixing bowl broke last week, which is why I'm stuck using this teeny tiny little bowl, and I have made a hot mess all over my kitchen. I would recommend you use a larger bowl for this project, but you know, you do what you have to do in the kitchen. I am all about improvising. Our batter is ready. That means it is time to add our banana to this. Of course, the riper your banana, the more delicious these are going to be, and some nice crunchy pecans. Now I know that with all these yummy ingredients coming together, this is going to be super delicious. Once this tastiness is all mixed up, we're just going to use an ice cream scoop to transfer our batter into some cupcake liners. Now this will yield between 24 and 36 cupcakes, so it definitely feeds a crowd. At this point, we're going to get these into the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for between 20 and 25 minutes. Because they are very moist, they do take a little more time than a traditional cupcake to set, but trust me, it will all be worth the wait. And while those are baking away, we are going to turn our attention to some delicious cream cheese icing, which of course involves a lot of cream cheese, some butter, and some sugar. So I'm not gonna say it's the healthiest recipe I've ever made on the channel, but it will be pretty darn tasty. It starts with some cream cheese in my bowl. I'm just going to give that a beat until it's whipped up and nice and fluffy. Really important to use room temperature cream cheese in a recipe like this so you can really maximize the fluffiness. Next, I am going to add some room temperature butter to this and give that a good beat. And finally, I'll add a splash of vanilla extract and a whole lot of confectioner's sugar to this. Stand back, everyone. This is gonna make a big mess. Some days I feel like I should change the name of this show to My Messy Kitchen. I'm gonna clean this up and then I'm gonna transfer this tastiness into a piping bag. Once our cupcakes have cooled completely, it is time to bring it all together. We're simply going to top it with our cream cheese icing, sprinkle on some crushed pecans, and finally, we are going to finish this off with one of our gorgeous pineapple flowers. What is not to love about this? I think I'm gonna change the name to Hummingbird cupcakes because these are pretty delicious. I highly recommend you give these a try. They will make the perfect Easter dessert. If you don't believe me, you have to give it a try for yourself. If you do, be sure to tweet me, Instagram me, or Snapchat me a photo because as always, I love seeing your kitchen creations. Keep in mind, the full recipe will be linked in the description box below so you can take a look for it there. And finally, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe because there is lots more deliciousness where this came from. Happy Easter, everyone!